Hello, everybody. Welcome to the No Politics Podcast. It's your boy Faking No Moves with my co-host Working Genius. This is the first episode of No Politics Podcast. Will be available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and all your other platforms as soon as possible. So today we're gonna get started. We're gonna talk a little bit about wrestling, sports, UFC, music, and all that good stuff. So we're gonna start today with wrestling. How you doing, Working Genius? Say what's up to the people.
I'm good. What's up, everybody? Blessed, thankful to be a part of this No Politics podcast. It should be a good one.
Yep,
Gonna try to be consistent with this. Keep putting out the material.
Definitely.
How I'm feeling? Well, what day is it? It is Wednesday, December 15th, December 14th?
14th.
December 14th, and so we just coming off SmackDown and Raw these past 2 days. How I feel? I feel like it was a pretty good week in wrestling. How you feeling about it? You started to kick us up.
Raw was awesome. SmackDown I had to catch up on today, which I really like SmackDown as well. And last week we did a test run. We had TLC, and TLC was dope. I'm still even living off of last week's Raw. Last week's Raw was awesome too. I love the fact that they're implementing a little bit of that backstage comedy edginess that's kind of like, the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era. Not completely there, but I see hints of it coming, and hopefully it does come, because PG-13 sucks.
Yeah. I remember we had a conversation maybe like 2 months ago or something where they began to implement little things that I kept bringing up that I think they're starting to slowly, test the waters and move away from the PG era. And I think with the whole Enzo skit, the Enzo walking around backstage naked, even Rollins pedigreeing Jericho on the top of the car, like all these backstage skits are very, very like nostalgic and reminiscent of, like you said, the Monday Night Wars. And so I don't know, I think going in a good direction. I think I mentioned to you that Becky Lynch in an interview backstage, she called Alexa Bliss a bitch and was very blunt about that. And then I believe either later that night or the next week, Alexa Bliss got on the mic in the ring, and she was like, and she reiterated that she was a bitch. I forgot exactly what she said, but
they've been throwing that word bitch around a lot lately. Didn't if I'm not mistaken, one of the male wrestlers even called the other wrestler a son of a bitch. I think it was on SmackDown.
Wow,
AJ Styles or something.
If it happened, I didn't catch it.
They were like,
believe it,
you're a son of a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah,
But let's start with Raw this week. Let's break down the card. It started off with New Day, who made history, and I'm happy to see New Day make history. New Day versus the Club and Sheamus and Cesaro. That was a very short match, but it was good for what it was.
Yes.
A lot of spots. The best part of it was when it was done and they were backstage celebrating.
I thought it was a brilliant twist. I don't know how you felt about it, but I knew once they got Stephanie upset, there was going to be a twist. And I felt like yes, they made history, but we kind of, expected it. And, it's against Sheamus and Cesaro in the Club, who they've beaten a billion times. So it was kind of lackluster. The fact that they had to defend it against Jericho and Owens and Reigns and Rollins later in the night as the main event was beautiful to me, because that really put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was really good.
That was cool. Yeah, man. I look forward to seeing Roadblock this week and seeing if the reign's gonna continue or will it end. I don't know. I think it's gonna still continue. I mean, they're gonna have to build the right feud to take that belt off of them. But yeah, man, I just look forward to that. And then also after that was the Braun Strowman Curtis Axel squash match, which is building more towards Sami Zayn and Braun.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
I love what's going on there. Like Zayn and Mick Foley's interactions.
We need to talk about that promo. We need to talk about it. Go ahead.
But this goes back to 2 weeks ago when I was telling you about the promo where Mick Foley got so mad and he was speaking like with so much emphasis. His teeth came out and he threw him on the floor. But like I know this week they were thinking about that, and Mick Foley made sure he kept his jibs in. But I love the freaking emotion coming between both of them. It's awesome. It's great TV as well.
I thought it was beautiful. A lot of people always complain that Sami Zayn is boring. and he doesn't have much of a character. You know, they just call him the cab driver, the dancing cab driver,
Yeah.
and I think this is a brilliant way. You know, and he's an underdog. You know, what do they call him? The underdog from the underground.
Yep.
And so him building to Strowman, and I like that it wasn't just, you know, can he beat Strowman? It's he. McFoley doesn't even think he should be in the ring with Strowman. That's the story in itself, and they've built it so well where you know, now you're like, I was sold. Like, it was a match I didn't, you know, care for too much. I was like, I guess they could have the match, maybe they couldn't, but now I'm like, oh man, he brought that emotion, and he made me want to see that match, and I'm really interested to see. And I love the stipulation of whether he can last 10 minutes or not. That was interesting.
Yeah. That really puts the cherry on the top because it gives it like a purpose now. Like you can't be in the ring with this guy. He is a monster. You're not gonna last more than 2 minutes, he said. So let's see if you can even last 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, matches like Zayn and Strowman they don't have big implications. It's not a title match. Those matches usually are 10 minutes. But he's throwing the 10-minute line just to give it that little spice, you know.
Well, yeah, and it's better because Strowman, you know, as you said, all squash matches pretty much. He destroys people in a minute. Like, so this should be interesting. And I like this because we'll get into our predictions for Roadblock later, but I like that with 10 minutes, nobody has to necessarily win or lose. So you could make one of them look strong. You can make both of them look strong, you know, without taking away too much from either. So
yeah, and either way, it's like, okay, Strowman might dominate him, decimate him, never pin him, and the clock might run out. And it's like, okay, he destroyed him, but Zayn lasted, and then Zayn lasted, so it makes him look strong too. Like he even more heart, even more reason for the fans to have an attachment with him, emotional attachment with him, and love him and support him, and maybe he can be the next star. Because after Rollins, Reigns, and Owens, who's coming for that belt?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We need a guy like Sami Zayn who's gonna come for the belt. You know what I'm saying? So that's awesome. After that was cruiserweight match that I didn't even catch it. Araya Davari, who's actually Davari from the back in the days, his brother, and Lince Dorado. Did you catch that match?
I caught a piece of it. I don't even remember who won. I don't know. It's just here's my problem with the cruiserweights. Why should we care about Davari versus Lince Dorado? You know what I mean? Like they haven't given us a reason to care about anything other than whoever's in the title picture, and even that is kind of hard to care about. You know what I mean? So
that match must have been super short if I literally didn't even know it was on the card. But Lince Dorado, one thing I will say, in the cruiserweight tournament, he did impress me. He had a great first round. I think he was out by the second or third round, but he was good. But cruiserweights, you know, they still got a lot of building to make the fans care. Yep. And on that note, we're going to move on to the Rollins report, which, as far as I know, is a new thing. I've never seen the Rollins report.
The first time the Rollins report came up was when he was trashing Reigns because Reigns was suspended. That was the first time the Rollins report.
You're right.
He made that funny promo where he just inserted clips of Reigns' interviews where he has an answer, but Rollins would just ask him a backwards question.
Okay, you're right. But it was a good one. Kevin Owens came out. He popped his shit. Jericho came out. He you know, didn't want to go on this guy's side, but then the whole, we could end New Day's reign, so that was cool. Roman now, wait, because I think I missed the end, but I know Roman popped up. How did Roman become part of the?
Wasn't it that Jericho and Owens started beating up Rollins?
Yeah, they went after him, right? And Roman came and saved him. Now that's the weird thing with me, like how after Survivor Series, all of a sudden these guys are best friends again. They're reunited. Let's forget about everything. Let's forget about the initial Roman report where he demolished. You know, he trashed me. Him, yeah, he trashed me.
Destroyed his character.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And now look, he's coming to save him. I mean, it set up a great main event. I'll tell you that much. If it was used for that purpose, then cool. But I don't really want to see them chumming it up, being best friends again. Like at least not yet.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I hate that. I feel like so much with Reigns seems forced, and I don't. I like just let him do his thing. He's the U.S. champion. Let him, still kind of hold some. I'm the guy, whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be buddy buddy with Rollins. On the topic of best friends, though, seeing Rollins and Reigns be buddy buddy, can we talk about Jericho and Owens and how their friendship is going? Because to me, that's been more important than the title itself.
Yeah.
Recent weeks, and tell me how you chime in on how you feel about that.
How I feel. This is how I feel. I feel that when they teamed them up, it was dope. And then as Owens became the champion, even better. Yeah, they need him to be a bad guy. They need people to hate that one guy, and Jericho helped the people hate Owens even more by cheating and helping him. I kind of wanted to see their friendship be more longer. You know what I mean? And I think me and you had this conversation before, but at the same time, I can't help but to be hooked in. Like, damn, they really
really
aren't meshing right now. They're like, hating each other. Well, Jericho's hating Owens now, and it's like, all right, let's see where this goes, because we do know that they can have awesome matches against each other. You know what I mean? And if Roman does become champion somehow, I mean, I don't know how that's gonna turn out, though. I don't know how that's gonna turn out. I mean, because
think about how that would turn
because
out.
listen, as much as they want the people to hate Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens is capable of making the people hate him, with or without Jericho. Roman, the people boo him just naturally. Let him be cocky. Let him get his boos. Stop trying to force him to become cool. And actually, they brought Rusev down a notch, trying to make the people love Roman and giving him that belt and shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Now you tell me how you feel.
I absolutely agree with. I thought the friendship should have went longer. I thought like you never want to keep them together too much to the point where like even when it's starting to wane that you just keep them together because you liked what it was. Like New Day, a lot of people would say New Day's been together too long. Obviously, they just wanted them together for the reign, and a lot of people felt. I think I don't know how their characters would be separate. I think they need to be more dominant. I remember when New Day was first coming up, they had them. And they ended a roll with New Day on top of like guys like Cena. Like they cleared the ring. I remember that when New Day was first coming up, and that opened people's eyes. But back to Jericho and Owens. So I felt like they could have dragged that out longer. It was still hot. People still loved it. I think it was premature breaking them up. Hopefully, this is what I'm hoping for, is that it doesn't seem like it, but I would hope that at Roadblock, Owens retains with Jericho helping him, and they reveal that their whole disagreement, that it was a work, and that they've been working together this whole time, and that would just make the friendship seem stronger and back. But it really bothers me because like I'm so invested in this friendship that it like bothers me. I'm watching this like a soap opera to the point where it bothers me when Jericho is like so unresponsive to Owens. And you see they took away the list for Jericho too. I don't know if maybe they wanted Jericho to be so heel and that the list was just getting too much, too many pops and people loved it, and I don't know, but they took away. I don't even know who they want to be heel or face if one of them turns on the other. I'm just confused.
We don't even know how long Jericho's around for. Don't forget, he comes and goes. We've been blessed with the presence of Jericho for a minute.
We've definitely been blessed. I just feel like this run has been so amazing for him that until I see it, kind of dying out, then I think he'll leave. But right now, there's no reason why he shouldn't stick around.
Yeah, you're right. One important thing that I remembered from your rant is, you know what? Rollins called out Triple H. We still got to see that.
Never saw that. Oh my God! And when it happened, I was so glad that they did it. and I was like, oh man, they haven't brought this up in a while. I like the
He said,
direction
let's
they
get to
decided
it. The
to get
man I
Jericho.
really want is Triple H. That's
Yeah,
the man I want. So,
yeah.
you know, Jericho facing Rollins, that's just a quick, let's get it over with because who knows, Jericho, maybe Jericho, I think Jericho will stay past WrestleMania and they're going to need a feud for WrestleMania and the belt's not going to be on Kevin Owens for WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So Jericho and Owens at Mania is possible. Rollins Triple H
That Mania, I
Mania is
think, is the way they're
possible.
going. I
That's
think
why
it's exactly.
Roman might need the belt. You know what I mean? Because then he's gonna have to face somebody. I don't know who, but somebody's gonna have to step up. You know what I mean? Somebody's gonna win the Royal Rumble. Who you think that's gonna be? Because the Royal Rumble's 3 weeks away. I mean, not to jump over Roadblock.
Is it that close?
I
No,
don't
right?
3 or 4 weeks away, something like that.
Okay, well, if it is that close, I feel like because they've still been building with Roadblock and stuff like that, that we haven't even gotten. They start to slowly hint at who's a potential contender. Right off the top, it just popped into my head. Finn Balor should be returning. That could be big time. He
Ooh,
could come for that title.
ooh,
Um, right? I can't really think. I'm hoping some surprise entrance. Maybe Samoa Joe comes up. I doubt he wins the Rumble, but
yeah.
off the
And
top,
then
I
the
can't really think
crazy
of who
thing
wins
is, the
the
crazy
Rumble.
thing is that that's why we're all so excited for the Rumble to come because Raw or SmackDown can win. So we could be booking
Yeah.
nothing. You know what I mean? Fantasy booking for no reason because it might be a SmackDown competitor.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But back to Raw. The next match was Bailey Alicia Fox. I'm gonna skim through some of these because some of them hold more importance than the
And we still
other.
have to talk about SmackDown.
And
So
we still have to talk about SmackDown. But the next match was Bailey and Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox, I'm never really been a fan of her. And it was kind of like, to me, I guess, a squash match. Bailey, let's see, they better have something planned for Mania for her. We'll move on. Lana and Rusev, they had the tell all what happened behind closed doors. And that was cool. That was cool. You know, Rusev is a funny guy. I mean, I feel like he should get pushed in a way positive and better role where he's more of a main character, and maybe he wins the Rumble. Who knows? But I love what he did with Lana. I love what he's doing with Enzo. Enzo is fucking hilarious. I love that guy. What do we have here? A couple haters. I love that. But how do you feel about the whole Enzo and Cass, and now we have Cass and Rusev set up for Roadblock against each other.
I absolutely agree with you. Again, I feel like I need to play more of a devil's advocate role, to be honest. But so far we're on the same page. But
Yeah. So what? Fuck it.
I've always, yeah, we're not like
We're
what's
not.
the big show, Stephen A. Smith, and we don't oppose each other just to oppose each other. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I agree. Rusev is charismatic. I think he's funny. If they give him some freedom. What worries me is like you said, he should be a more main character. I doubt they're ready to pull the trigger on letting him win the Rumble, but he could definitely be. He could be as powerful as not as powerful. I mean, yes, as powerful, but as big as the Miz is right now. The Miz is hot. And with Lana, if they, let her, he shouldn't be losing. And it worries me because I feel that they're gonna have Cass go over him on Sunday, and so I don't know where he is with me. I want him to be more, but I feel like they don't want him to be more.
Okay.
They don't want him to win.
Well, yeah, it's all about longevity too, because I've seen guys like freaking Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. I mean, they grinded before they got their shot. Benoit was killing it for a long time before he won that
No,
Royal Rumble. No, no point in time. I'm not even gonna talk about that. But anyway, he was number one entrant. People forget about that. He had an awesome Royal Rumble, highlight. But Big Cass is my man. He's from Queens.
well,
We
you're
rep
biased.
Queens. I don't care. I'm willing. I want to see him win. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
think he should talk less.
I'm gonna talk less. You know who I got at Roadblock. Let's move on to the main event, which was Rollins and Reigns versus Owens and Jericho and the New Day. That was a great match. They had some awesome spots, great storytelling. The ending was amazing. What more can I say? I mean, New Day retained. Let's get it. Let's get it. What you gotta say?
History. Clap it up for
Let's
history.
clap for history. That's right.
Like I said, that really put a stamp on it. It was kind of lackluster prior to that. They defended against two, pretty, these are main event guys.
Yes.
So
Yes.
formidable opponents. So definitely clap it up for New Day in history.
Yeah.
I thought it was overall a decent Raw. Better than usual. That's not saying much though. I don't love Raw, but it was a good Raw.
It was a good Raw. Yeah.
Credit where it's due.
Yeah, that's right. You're more of a SmackDown Live kind of guy, huh? You get your Tuesdays on lock and you're tuned in. All right. Mondays, I've been a little more tuned into the Mondays. I've always been a Monday Night Raw kind of guy. But besides when I didn't have cable back in the days when I was a little kid, Thursday night SmackDown on UPN, that was my
easy.
stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, man.
And it wasn't on till 11, so Mom couldn't tell us to turn it off, kind of shit.
Right, exactly. But yeah, man, I like the fact that they broke the record. I mean, why not? It's like what they did with CM Punk. We need the new age guys doing significant things that are going to impact the business. It's nothing but go from day to day to day. It don't stop. So history's complete, always being made. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. SmackDown was great. Let's get into SmackDown. I look forward to Roadblock. Wait. No. Wait, you want to do our predictions for Roadblock now or no?
Up to you. We are on Raw right now. We're finishing up. So we might as well, and we kind of got into it. So we might as well just finish up our...
Let's finish up our predictions. You got the list. They took the list from Jericho, but you got it now. So pull it up. Let's make our predictions.
All right. I'm gonna order it by least relevant matches.
Okay.
Let's start off with, in my mind, anyway, I'm biased. Cass versus Rusev. I believe it's on the pre-show, so they're basically saying this is least relevant. How do you feel about Cass versus Rusev? Cass versus
Rusev. I mean, I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? It is basically, like you said, it's number one on the card. But also, you got to understand, it's to get the crowd hot. Let's see what you guys could do. You know what I'm saying? I want to see some good wrestling. I want to see some storytelling. If Enzo can show up, that'll be amazing. But I hope it's just all in all, I hope there's great storytelling. I got Cass. Who you got?
I also have Cass. I think what's going to happen is, I don't know if I said it on the podcast or I spoke to you prior about it, but I think that Lana's going to get involved and, Rusev is going to look like he's headed for a cheap victory, and then Enzo's going to pop up and, get the crowd hot and into it. And then, Cass is going to find a way to win via Enzo.
Okay.
So that's who I got. So we're both on the same page there. We got Cass.
Yeah.
Next on the list, I want to go with the Cruiserweight title match.
Okay. But how do you think they're gonna? Because they always do different things with their lineup. Like they won't even put the title match last.
Oh no, the cruiserweight title match. The cruiserweight title match will be like before the main event kind of thing.
Probably,
It'll be like
a fill-in. But they're good, man. I look forward to this match.
Oh, I mean, I love these guys. I think, as we mentioned, the storytelling lacks a bit with these guys. But I think they've been doing better with the Cruiserweight title. I like that TJP. I don't know if you've seen it. But TJP is kind of like, he hates Kendrick. And at the same time, his attitude towards Swan, who was his friend, has been like, look, I beat you in the Cruiserweight Classic. I'll knock you out, too.
He's like, I want to win the belt. That's it. I want to be a champion.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I like that.
Swan still doesn't have the attitude to go with it yet. He doesn't, he's still kind of just...
I like Swan. I get why they gave him the belt. They wanted to do something that was going to, really make people like, what? That happened on 205? Okay, so we got to watch because anything can happen on 205. But I don't think they should hotshot the belt around. I think Swan should retain. Yeah. I don't know how. I just look forward to being entertained with this match because, honestly... No storytelling or whatever, but they have some great matches, and I could look forward to their matches and seeing some shit I never seen. So let's have a great match. I hope Swan retains. I don't know what's gonna happen, but that's my pick.
I agree. I want Swan to retain as well because I just don't. Yeah, I don't want the belt to be passed around so much so soon.
Yeah.
And how it ends, I don't know if they're gonna make Swan look. I could see it ending with TJP and Kendrick just kind of going after each other and losing sight, losing focus,
Okay.
and Swan, catching someone and kicking the crap out of them with super kick.
He's gonna get an opportunity to capitalize on.
I'm thinking maybe. Here's something that just popped into my head. TJP gets Kendrick in his what is it, the knee bar?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Swan comes in and super kicks him from that position when he's sitting upright, holding in the knee bar, and then TJP is just out and pin. 1, 2, 3, maybe.
That can happen. That'd be cool.
But I don't know. I don't know if I can see TJP taking the pin now that I think about it.
Yeah, they're building him strong. He's gonna be a big time player for that division. So.
Yeah.
But what's next?
On. Next, we got let's go Zayn versus Strowman, 10-minute time limit.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be a good one. We already talked about this one, how we feel it could impact them, but we didn't make our pick. We didn't make our pick. Who we think is gonna win? You think it's gonna? I don't know, man. I give it a Braun. Braun's gonna win.
You think there's gonna be a pin involved? What are you saying? Be clear.
Okay, Braun can win by pin. I believe I said earlier that it can go to a no contest and then it just be like no one really won, but Braun dominates Zayn. It's like he's still a monster, but Zayn lasted more than 2 minutes, so that gives him more heart for his character and for the fans to emotionally get connected with him. And then, hey, this feud could go on for a while too. We've been seeing Strowman's been crushing people and squashing them. Let's give him 1 pay-per-view, 2 pay-per-views, maybe even 3. If it goes to Rumble and it's a great Rumble match and they do something that is gonna be memorable, then let's move it on to the next pay-per-view. I would have preferred for them to actually save it though, like for Mania or something. That would be a good Mania match.
I mean, if they build Strowman well enough, it could be big enough.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll last that long.
It won't.
It's hard. Like Mania is about 3 months away.
Yeah.
And I just think it would be like the odd man out on the card. Like I feel like it can be left up. There's how many?
But I just feel it would be better than putting him in the freaking Andre the Giant battle. Or something like that. But we'll see. Who you got?
I see it. I think the time limit. I think Zayn does reach the time limit. I think Braun Strowman dominates. But I think towards like the last minute, Zayn just keeps getting up, and he gets into a position where he gets Braun on his knee or off his feet, and then he's ready for the haluva kick or something, and like time runs out or some shit, or like he connects, Braun goes down, he goes for the pin or something, and time runs out. Something like that.
I like where you're
going.
That
might make Strowman look weak if it looks like Zayn is gonna pin him. But I think like right before a haluva kick or something, the ref steps in and like stands in the way, like time is up, ring the bell kind of thing. So I'm thinking more no contest. That's just how I picture it going. Okay, next up, let's go with New Day versus Sheamus and Cesaro for the titles. How are you feeling?
Man, I think you know where I'm going with this one. It's pretty obvious, man. New Day rocks.
How you feeling?
That's how I feel, man.
Okay. Let's make this one shorter. I don't have too many thoughts on it. I don't think it's as obvious. Like I said, now that the reign they have reached, that point. I don't know if I feel like now it's up for grabs. Like now, they can lose it. I don't know if they want them to lose it as soon after. I mean, they just defended against Jericho, Owens, Rollins, and Reigns, so I wouldn't like it if they just lost like that. But Sheamus and Cesaro are pretty hot right now. People like them, especially after that bar promo.
Oh, that was nice.
Beautiful. People are behind them. We didn't even mention that when we were talking about Attitude Era kind of promos.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they're in a good place. I feel like they won't win this. Maybe they'll have a rematch at Rumble. Something like that, and we'll see. I think New Day retains though.
Okay.
Have we pretty much agreed on everything?
We pretty much, yeah. It's not
Okay.
normally like that though, you know. But that's how it's going because it's the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
You know what
so
I mean?
kind of things are supposed to fall in place the
Yeah.
way. Okay. Next up, Rollins Jericho.
Rollins and Jericho. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna go with Jericho. I don't know how you're going. We didn't even talk about this one.
Wow, you're going with Jericho.
I'm actually gonna go with Jericho because I think Kevin Owens is gonna try to help Jericho just to prove more. Like, hey, I really want to be a friend, and like it's just accidents and things
I like
happening. Like,
that.
you know what I mean? So please help me. You know
I
what I
like.
mean?
I
And
really like
and
that.
who knows? Who knows? I'm gonna go Jericho though. Y2J upset pick. I got him.
I'm not gonna change mine despite how much I love what you just said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I just kind of felt like Rollins would win. I could see the Owens thing happening so clear in my head now though.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say I just think it was gonna be a clean Rollins Jericho fight. Owens doesn't get involved. I think because I don't want to say too much, but because I think Jericho might get involved in the main event,
Yeah.
and maybe Jericho and Owens are could possibly be faking this.
I got another idea.
I think it's better to keep Owens away from that match to not give people any ideas about their friendship still being real. I think just keep them apart and have Rollins go over Jericho. And then have Jericho get involved later.
Okay.
What are you gonna say? I know you're chomping at the bit.
No, I'm chomping at the bit to say this. But what other matches are left? We have the women's match in the main event.
And main event. That's all I got.
Okay. I'm gonna save my thoughts for the main event.
Okay. So let's go Sasha Charlotte right here.
All right. Sasha Charlotte. You got Rollins though.
I do have Rollins.
All
yes.
right. Sasha Charlotte. Ooh. Okay. I love what they've been doing. Freaking. Charlotte beats her in her hometown. She beats her in her hometown. But I think she got the one up because that move between the rail and the stairs, oh my God, that was awesome. In the crowd, that was really dope. I love that. When Charlotte was going at it with Flair and smacked him, and then Sasha came out, then she beats her ass. I just was waiting for her to say, "I'm the dirtiest player in the game, baby," just like her dad. I just wanted her to say that, but I'm going Sasha. I don't think that it's going to be a clean win somehow, some way, no matter where this is placed on the card. You know, Charlotte still has her pay-per-view win streak, and I don't think they want to say like, hey, she lost, but it wasn't really a loss or something like that, like a DQ. So one of them's going to get DQ'd, but Sasha retains.
That's exactly where I'm at. I feel Sasha retains. I don't know if Sasha gets the victory.
Okay.
I think it's possible Charlotte, her undefeated thing remains intact at pay-per-views, and she gets a DQ win. I don't whether it's Dana Brooke or Ric Flair getting involved. Something happens where I feel like Sasha wins, but Sasha retains, but Charlotte wins. Also, going back to what you said about man, I feel like you know how I feel about Charlotte. I love Charlotte. Yeah. I just every time I see her do a moonsault, oh my God,
the moonsault from the announcers table.
It was beautiful.
Oh my God, it's true
just,
that.
I feel like she doesn't get enough credit. I don't know, and she's a great worker, and she protects herself. Sasha's just always scary as when she's doing stunts, and she scares me. And Charlotte is like so durable and. I love Charlotte. I'm mad she had to lose the title, but I get why they did it. But to me, Sasha retains. Charlotte somehow gets a victory. DQ. Something happens. Something.
Yeah, weird. But it's inevitable to say Charlotte will have that title again, because she is the queen.
She is.
She is. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Main event time. Main event time. Owens versus Reigns. Is the Universal title on the line? I believe it is.
Yeah. Of course it is, yes.
I never like when they do title versus title.
No, but
the main title is
yeah, U.S. title is not on the line.
Okay. How are you feeling?
I don't know. I want you to go first.
Okay.
You get the first pick.
Cooking it, yeah. Perfect. Owens versus Reigns. I alluded to it. I think Owens retains. I pray to God Owens retains. I don't want. Why would they have Reigns with both titles? It's just it would be way too forced as trying to make him, the big dog, as he likes to say. But Owens retains. It's not going to be clean. There's no way they're going to let Owens retain clean. And how do they do that? Is that Jericho truly deep down, he knows that Owens is his best friend, and that's that.
That's how you feel? Okay.
They're best friends still. The friendship is back. They walk out of there.
Who you picking? Owens? It's Owens. Okay. I guess me and you feel the same way about this card because I think we picked every match the same. I am going to go with Owens. I'm going to agree with you. It's not going to be clean. I thought somehow, some way, his best friend Y2J, the living legend, would help him. But it's clear to me now. Triple H is the one who picked him. And Triple H is going to help him. And Rollins is going to come and help his buddy Roman. And we're going to set it up for the road to WrestleMania. Rollins versus Triple H. And that's going to be the star of the show. Owens ain't the star of the show, no matter if he holds the belt. That's why he needs help. I love Owens, though. I'm not going to front on him. I'm just in promo mode. But Triple H versus Rollins is what I want to see. Somehow Triple H got to help. Somehow.
Wow, you're going really big for this. I mean, the only other pay-per-view we've seen Triple H at prior to Mania was Roadblock. Right. Roadblock, that's his moment.
But, he created Roadblock.
Yeah, so I feel like I see, if I see Triple H returning, it's at the Rumble.
Yeah, right. I mean, he won the belt at the Rumble.
I think maybe he just screws Rollins. Like Rollins is gonna have a good showing in the Rumble match if he's in it. Yeah. Why not screw Rollins out of the Rumble match?
Yeah.
Itself.
I just feel somehow, some way, Rollins, like if he does see Triple H and interrupts and tries to help Roman, it's still gonna backfire somehow, some way. Jericho might come out as well. Like you said, it might be part of the plan the whole time. Like, oh, you thought we didn't fuck with each other, but hey, we're best friends. Like, you know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? And we haven't seen Stephanie until last week when she just, like, I want to see how she's going to get involved with the title more. You know what I mean? Triple H, her man's going to come back. Mick Foley, like, how's he going to feel about that? It could be intriguing.
I like this because you remember when Rollins had all those questions about how did Stephanie and Mick Foley not know, they were like, it kind of came off as bullshit, like how would Stephanie not know? And then I believe they ended that show with Stephanie getting into the car with Triple H. Triple H comes out of the car and they show him. And it's like, okay, so yeah, of course they're on the same page. They go home together every night. Like, of course, in show or out of show, maybe they were dropping hints there. I don't want to give WWE that credit that they were thinking that far ahead.
Yeah.
To drop these
but I just wanted it to happen now, sooner than later, because then it's like, why did you have those little things to build to this? But it's taking so long. Why would Rollins name drop him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Rollins just name dropped him.
So it's like something maybe can tie in. But, I know me, sometimes I think too deep, like you said, and then it doesn't happen, and then when it does happen, fuck it, we just gotta be like, oh, well, this is what we expected to happen, so, hey, let there be great matches. Moving on, let's go to SmackDown, which was last night.
I'm a SmackDown guy, but
Mr. Tuesday night.
all of that Raw talk really got me feeling Raw and Roadblock. I think we just cut a promo for Roadblock.
Right, tune in on the WWE Network. $10.99 if it's your first time. You get it for free your first month.
I truly feel like we just sold Roadblock. You're gonna think we're like industry plants. We're for WWE. Okay, let's get into SmackDown. Kicked it off with, I know you just caught up with it. Kicked it off with what? The Miz TV.
Miz TV.
AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no. Kicked it off with Ellsworth coughing his brains out. And I guess he sneezed or coughed on Daniel Bryan. Yeah.
Started off with Ellsworth again. Just like last week, they pushed back the Styles versus Ellsworth, which is not the worst thing. Nobody cares, Everybody's like, okay, because we know it's just an eventual destruction of Ellsworth, and so nobody's mad that that's not the main event. And then what? They even blessed us with what I thought was a better main event than Styles and Ellsworth would be. So not mad at
Hell
that.
yeah.
Okay, let's not get too out of order though. Miz, AJ Styles, Miz TV. Should I go first? Should I
mean, go. You're Mr. SmackDown.
All right. I love that, these two heels are sitting in the ring and they're just complimenting each other. They're shining each other's belts, as Miz put it. I thought that was great.
I love that,
they were just such fans of each other. And then when Styles said nobody's on his level, I was supremely hyped that Miz said, I'm above it. That's the kind of attitude a champion should have. I don't care what belt you have.
Yep.
I don't care what title you have. That is the attitude you need to have as champion. And whether heel versus heel or not, they were ready to go at it.
Yep.
I love that.
Props to Miz. Miz stepped up. And since this brand split and he came to SmackDown, he's been, like he says, the most talked about WWE superstar. Like he's really stepped his game up, his promos. He said, I'm above it. I'm legendary. I brought this belt to a new prestige. Like he was just going off. And AJ Styles was like, okay, so let's get it. What's up though? What's up though? Because they don't want none. They don't want none.
small, very small storytelling bit. But Miz didn't pull Maurice in front of him last night.
I know. I was thinking the same thing watching today. I was like, hey, so I was like, Ziggler he pulls Maurice in front of, but he doesn't do it with AJ. Okay, he's feeling himself. All right, Miz. Okay. I was impressed. But overall, Dean Ambrose came out and they both scattered because the lunatic fringe was in the house. You know what I'm saying? The unstabled one.
He started throwing chairs,
He just threw the chair for no reason. You know what I'm saying? He was like, what? Step down, y'all. Then Ziggler came. Ziggler's good on the mic, too, man. I love Ziggler. I was impressed with him. We're going to get to that match, what happened later on tonight. But Ziggler is definitely stepping his game up, too. Even Mike-wise, him in his feud with Dean Ambrose, he was the stronger, Mike work.
Oh, yeah.
In the whole feud. Yeah. Like, he really kind of carried that feud, and they should have let that go on a little longer, too. But, Styles was ending.
It was Styles' time.
Yeah, it's Styles' time. It still is his time.
His time is now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Styles' time is now.
But we'll see in 2 weeks when Cena comes back whose time it'll be now. Who knows? I hope not.
What happened? It looked like they were gonna be headed towards a tag team main event. Miz and Styles versus Ziggler and Ambrose. The basic tag team. Put all the main event players in a tag team match, and then Ambrose, after giving the dirty deeds to Miz, he gave the dirty deeds to Ziggler, and he was in that Ambrose style that I like. The I don't give a fuck about anyone style. And then
the lights hit.
Go out. Oh man, you know the love for the Wyatt family.
Of course.
And they made Harper stand tall at the end of that.
And I was surprised. Yeah.
Even when the lights were off, I was like, okay, is it gonna be Bray? Is it gonna be Orton? Harper? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Harper, one of the most underrated. I love every time he's in a match. That was an awesome twist. I love that.
Yeah, and he cleaned house and he was staring at AJ. That was cool. You know what I'm saying? And then moving on from that, what was next?
I believe we got into Carmella and Natalya, if I'm not mistaken.
Carmella and Natalya, yeah, which
go ahead.
Like a couple weeks ago, we had a test run podcast. It was after TLC match, and I mentioned how it was kind of weird to me how Carmella was like, "Oh, you know who did it? It was Natty." Like, okay, Natty. I thought she would say someone else, but then this leads into Natty saying it wasn't me. Nikki Bella's like, I don't know who to trust, and then they had a all right match. I like the one part where Natty had her, and she was like, "You're a liar." I didn't do it. but then the shit I didn't like is like you lose and you're laying there and you're looking at Nikki like it wasn't me.
As if you can't just tell, yeah.
Like come on, like I don't know. It's like just get it popping. Let's have a triple threat match or something. Let's stop trying to all be buddy buddy. I
Okay,
mean, they need a story though.
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I like that it's a story. I
Okay.
like that there's outside of the women's title, there's something for the women to do. You know, this isn't they're not fighting over the title. It's women being catty. It plays into the total divas thing. You know,
Okay.
women can be drama at times. I'm not gonna say all women because you know we don't. I don't want to be called a misogynist. Airwaves, but you know, and it's drama and an interesting point that I love. Well, first of all, JBL and Atunga were going back and forth about who they think did it, and some points were brought up. Like one thing Carmella doesn't do is lie. To be honest,
Yeah.
Carmella doesn't.
She
She
keeps it
tells it
real.
like it is. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a bit when she revealed that it was Natty. It was a weak point to do it. She was kind of trying to get into Nikki's head, I guess. But she's been real for the most part. And then Natty had all the reason to attack Nikki because Natty has been a heel this whole time. Like Natty has been a heel since being on SmackDown, has she not? Have I missed something?
Yeah, she was,
She was
right?
a heel, and then she slowly transitioned into I'm coach, I'm mentor, and that was a slick little thing. And then as coach and mentor, she still finds a way into that Survivor Series match.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
There's reason for her to attack Nikki. You know,
I would love to see a match between them two. But
yeah,
I feel like the thing is, like, Carmella's new, so they're trying to give her a rub too.
and I
So,
like it. I don't mind it. A lot of people don't like her. She's still got work to do. She could be better. But I do like that they've been like she's not awesome on the mic by any means, but they're giving her the mic and just letting her stand in the ring and talk. Do your thing. This is practice. This is live TV. Go ahead, do it. Let's see what you got. That's how you make them better. Give them a little freedom, see what they could do. And I like that she hasn't been stumbling all crazy on her words or anything crazy like that. She's dropped a couple bombs. She's not afraid to name drop Cena. Said some crazy things about Nikki a few times. So
Yeah.
I don't mind it. They're trying to build a lot of different women, and I don't mind that. I like
And
that.
they're definitely doing it better than Raw. I can't lie.
Yep,
But
exactly.
moving on, there was a backstage scene, and it was Gabriel Iglesias with
The Miz
Apollo
and
Crews and the
Marquise and
Miz. That
Apollo
was
Crews.
funny. I like that. He was like, "What planet did you get that from?" That shit was funny. I don't care how cheesy it might have been, like of a joke and shit, mad simple, but I loved it. I loved that whole backstage segment. The only thing is, Apollo Crews, this is what you give him. Like, I want to see him get a shot at the IC belt. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And maybe this is something that's gonna play into the future. Like, putting him in
Yeah.
the scene
I
shows that he'll eventually be a champion. You know what I mean? But I want to see it already because he's talented, man.
I could easily see the Miz running into Apollo backstage next week and saying something like "not so funny without your friend around," something like that. Boom, right there, you got it started.
Yep.
I think that I like when they bring because they promoted this. They were advertising that he was going to be on the show.
Yep.
And I like that he wasn't a big part of it.
Yeah. He just had a little
Like
segment.
that small little role, just there.
Fluffy.
Not he doesn't have to cut a promo in the ring. He doesn't have a 10-minute stand up routine.
Yeah.
There, so I
was
didn't
cool.
mind that at all.
It was awesome. The Miz was in it. Let's move on. Battle Royal to determine the number one contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match at Road. I don't. When is this match gonna be?
2 weeks, maybe.
2 weeks, maybe. I don't know.
That's when Cena returns. That's when Styles is going up against. Is defending his title versus Ziggler.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, because they don't have nothing really planned. Like, are they gonna have another special on the network before Royal Rumble?
No clue. Maybe they'll just have a big SmackDown.
All right. Well, I'm down for it. The SmackDown Tag Team Battle Royal. That was a good one. What were your thoughts on that?
I didn't know it was over the top at first. That was my first thought. I didn't know it was over the top. Simon Gotch got eliminated immediately. That's funny. You
Yeah.
know, WWE in the back still has it out for him. You know,
Yeah.
he's not well liked apparently.
Apparently,
But I
right?
can see it. I thought it was good. I think again, a lot of people thought it was American Alpha, and what do we get? We get the Hype Bros. You know, another twist. SmackDown has not been afraid of these twists. You know, yeah, they're not, you know, feeding into the most obvious thing. You know, the fans want American Alpha, but man, I don't mind this. Build other people up. You know,
Yeah, I don't mind it either.
Heath Slater Rhino dynamic, that was good storytelling. Heath and Rhino.
When they came out, I was so confused. I was like, didn't they just break up on Talking Smack? I was like, wait a minute.
Exactly, and they didn't just forget about it. They had, you know, Heath accidentally eliminate Rhino, and that was good. I don't know how I feel about the Hype Bros. You know, I feel like the Wyatts will destroy them.
I mean, it depends who's defending the belt. Because if Randy and Bray are both in that ring, I'm sorry, guys.
It doesn't even need to be Randy and Bray. They could bring Rowan back, and it could be Rowan and Harper. Rowan and Harper could squash them. Ooh, speaking of Rowan and Harper, I love their match against the Usos at that Fastlane like 2 years ago. That was awesome. I love that. Excuse the sirens if you hear that. City life.
City life. We love it. It doesn't matter. But moving on. Wait, you want to say?
You mentioned the Usos.
Oh, Usos.
Smack segment. Usos were on the Talking Smack segment saying that they'd be healthy by next week.
Okay.
Saying that they want to be the number one contender, so we might see Usos versus Hype Bros. Maybe the Usos somehow face off with the Wyatts, which I wouldn't mind either. So
yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'm down for whatever. Let's do it. I would love to see Usos. That'd definitely be competitive. I think if anything, the people who can stand in that ring and have some credibility at this point with the Wyatts would be the Usos.
Especially as a team.
Yeah, it would be the Usos. They're proven already. But after the Battle Royal and commercial and all that, Alexa Bliss had a match.
The impromptu Alexa Bliss defending her title match.
Is really doing well on the mic. I was impressed with her whole style. You've told me already, because as we've talked about before, and the listeners don't know at this point, but I kind of wind off wrestling for a couple weeks, maybe like a month or two, and I was like, you know, Survivor Series, let me get back into it. And Alexa Bliss in NXT, I wasn't a big fan of her. She won the belt, and her promo skills afterwards, I was like, wow, she's really good. Like the way she snapped, she wasn't emotional after the win, but then she was emotional and Talking Smack, and then she snapped out of it real quick. I was really impressed with that. And then tonight, she really did good as well. I mean, last night she really did good, and I like how she called the girl Jane Ellsworth.
Yeah.
And she's like, SmackDown's the land of opportunity, but come on, like, that was dope. I really like that. And then we got the twist, and Becky Lynch came out. Another great match, by the way, by both of them. Really impressive.
This is why SmackDown is the A show. This is why I am a SmackDown guy, because we don't get Styles Ellsworth Styles for the title. Who cares? We're gonna give you Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss rematch for the title. I love it. And then typical heel tactic, fake an injury, then use the same leg to kick her. After the match.
She got disqualified, right? Count out?
No, she got counted out.
Count out, yeah. Count out, yep. Yeah, it was cool. It was nice storytelling. We still, going to build toward a pay-per-view or something. We'll see what's going to happen in, I guess, a week or two, because we got a bunch of title matches coming up, and we don't even know about a pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view, yeah. We might have to do more research. We might be just missing something.
Exactly, yep. But that was cool. And then after that, we had the main event, the Fatal 4-Way, which got plenty of time. I was really impressed with all the spots. I love how they started it. I don't know. Where do you want to start? You want to pop this off, because that main event was really, really dope.
Luke Harper dominates. That should be the headline.
Right?
They made him stand tall at the end of that opening segment, and then he looked dominant.
He came in busting guns.
Dominant.
Yeah.
And then it took a Dirty Deeds and a super kick to eliminate him back to back. I like it. He lost, but they built him strong, and that's only gonna look better on the Wyatt family now. So
Yep.
still, they built the Wyatt family, and the Wyatts weren't even on the show.
Nowhere.
Weren't on the show, and it wasn't like, oh man, I need the Wyatts. Where's the Wyatts? It was still great. I don't know. I just think it's awesome. You know, they've been without Cena as well, and you know they haven't lost a beat. A lot of people thought, you know, a lot of people say they don't have enough main event talent on SmackDown, which you know you can make an argument for, but they've held their own. You know, Cena's not there. You know, still no Taker. Wyatts weren't even on tonight, and we still got a brilliant event.
It was amazing. I really liked it. I was digging it. Can't wait to see what comes after in the coming weeks. But that was basically our wrestling for the week. And
Ziggler's the number one contender before we forget.
Oh yeah, Ziggler's the number one contender. Yeah. Yep, Ziggler won. It was
that as well.
He and that one spot with Dean Ambrose and him and Harper and the clotheslines.
That was awesome.
They were putting on. That was a great main event. But Ziggler is the number one contender. We'll see when AJ Styles is going to defend the belt. I look forward to it, like I said. And we're going to move on. Roadblock, wrestling, music. We got to get into music.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about music. It's been a big month for music, actually. It's been a big year because the year is going to end. And a lot of people like to say come December, they don't drop music and the industry don't make money. But we had some heavy hitters. J. Cole surprised us. He's breaking records. Weekend earlier this month, he dropped his album. He was breaking records. Now J. Cole's looking to break those records. And I thought, damn, Weekend's killing, but J. Cole's really killing right now. Absol dropped. Post Malone dropped. Childish Gambino dropped. I think the Locks are gonna drop soon. Drake was supposed to drop. He's coming top of the year. Yeah, man. How you feel about the music coming out right now, and what you're listening to? What's in your iPad and your iPod and iPhone or iMac?
iTunes. It's just
What's in your iTunes? The only one I forgot.
Wondering where I'm bumping is from iTunes. What I've been listening to? Stony is what I've been listening to.
Really?
Post Malone's album is all I've been listening to.
Okay.
I can't say enough about it.
I was impressed. I was impressed with his album. It
Take
definitely
it away.
is. Stony was a good album. I mean, it's like J. Cole had that introspective, deep album that, connects with, our generation at least. We're 23 years old. I'm 23. You're 23. We're young and we connect with what he's saying. But then Post Malone's young too, and he's connecting in a different way.
He's even younger.
He's younger. Yeah, he's younger than us, right?
He's 21, I believe.
Wow, man. Look at that. Props to Post Malone. I fuck with him. It was a solid album. A lot of these songs are stuck in my head too, like afterwards. Like Money Made Me Do It and Big Lie, So Cold, All Falls Apart. Then he had the hits still, White Iverson and Too Young still on the album.
Come on. Congratulations and Deja Vu, two solid, should be radio hits right there, and those are solid. I loved it. The talk that night was because J. Cole and Post both dropped that night. And, of course, I gave J. Cole's a listen. Like you said, deep message. Loved it. His album wasn't very, there weren't, like, bangers or anything. It was I felt like he wanted us to hear his words, which I love. The beats never kind of drowned him out. His words are what stuck. But, and they hit me, and I absorbed them, and I absorbed his message, but it did not make me want to say, let me listen to this again, and let me listen to it again, and it did not make me do that, whereas Post Malone's did. Wow. Post Malone obviously is not on the same level substance-wise, message-wise, as, J. Cole. Obviously, that doesn't even really need to be said, but Post Malone did a great job, I thought. It's his debut album. And, had a good mix. He had some country sounding stuff on there. He had his couple of bangers that you could play. Big Lie is gonna bump. No Option, Patient, like you mentioned earlier. And then my favorite on the whole thing, I Fall Apart. That one hit me hard. I fell apart listening to that one.
That's what's up.
That one hit me hard. I love Post Malone's album. Go for it, yes sir.
I mean, best believe J. Cole. I'm the type of person. I mean, everybody likes music differently, but I definitely put replay value on J. Cole's album. I mean, man, Deja Vu with the whole
That's the one I can
Bryson
listen to.
Tiller
And I can listen
beat,
to James
but
and Neighbors and
I don't know
Flash.
if you heard the story behind it. The person who produced J. Cole's song had that song for J. Cole a year ago, and the person who produced Bryson Tiller's song is cool with that producer and heard it.
Oh, and that's why they had the same.
And basically, he went and made it and recreated the beat with the same sample and gave it to Bryce Tiller. And then he told the guy like, "You inspired me, you know. That's why I did it."
Excuse me. I like that.
I wasn't mad at them both
that.
having the same song anyway, whether I knew that or not. They're
Yeah,
both
yeah,
equally. They were both equally needed. So I fuck with it. That song, Neighbors. I think the neighbors think I'm selling dope. That
That's a great
shit.
song.
Oh my god.
And that even that's got a message.
Yep.
The message behind that is, you know, people are gonna hate when you shine and when you doing your thing, when you grinding. They're gonna think you up to something.
And his story always is the fame and the money isn't what it seems like, and he's still like, I guess I'm going back to Southside. Like I'm going back to Southside, like where they don't judge you. You know what I mean? You are you. And then J. Cole also lined it up his album where that the week leading up, we find out he's having a daughter. He had his daughter
Awesome.
2 days before his album. Then you hear the songs about his daughter, about his girl, his woman.
I almost cried, bro.
It was dope. It was dope. I really fuck with. Yo, I really fuck with both of them. I love what they did for hip hop. And this year was an awesome year. Childish Gambino just dropped some dope shit where it's like a whole
Very
70s funk album and it's different vibes. And I fucking woke up when it dropped. I listened to it in the morning, got ready for work, went to work with good vibes. And I like it for what it is, and I could still bump that. Singles, a lot of people dropped different singles this past year. Big Sean's one, who his song's picking up, that Bounce Back, he dropped a video. That video is tough. That video is tough.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, man, that video's tough.
Definitely mess with the song.
Grammys is coming up. Drake with the most Grammys for I guess hip hop. He has like 8. I think Rihanna has 8 as well. Beyonce, I think, has the most though for like all categories.
That makes sense.
Chance the Rapper, big props to him. He got nominated for a couple Grammys, and his album was free. Like he didn't even, you know what I'm saying? Like that's dope. He's not even signed to a label. What else? Absol's album was cool. Yeah, like I just love what's going on in music right now. There's some young artists I'm listening to right now as well. Kamaya from the West Coast. I don't know if you've heard of her. She has a nice vibe, summer vibe, Bay Area. Like she's pretty tight. I like her bounce and I like her flow. Yeah, man. 24 Hours. That
was mine. You just stole mine. The person I've been listening to.
Yeah.
24 Hours has been killing.
You know what? He was formerly Royce Rizzy, and he was signed to Jermaine Dupri and So Def and all that. And that's what's up, how he reinvented himself and he, got a new flow. I actually was listening to an interview with him and he was talking like how he's going to drop like an album with Ty Dolla $ign called $24. And like
what he says, you heard the Roy Wood song, right? Have you?
No, yeah, I heard it, but what he said.
In 24 Hours, and at the very beginning, he goes $24 instead of 24 hours.
Hey, so look at that. Look at that. Yeah, but like he has a dope story. I've been listening to him. I mean, who else? How about you? Who you been listening to?
24 Hours. I want to open my iTunes here, but I'm afraid it's gonna slow down my Skype. But like I said, Post Malone, 24 Hours.
That Anakin Arts. The
that
Force.
Complex Fusion.
That Complex Fusion. Shout out to them. Yeah, man. There's a lot of dope people coming up right now in the game. This is like a very, very like great time for our generation to like get into the game and create and put a message out there to the world. And I just love hearing new artists that are on the come up, especially ones who I can connect with. And who better to connect with than my family? So shout
Yep.
out to Complex Fusion and Anakin Arts.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
I feel like as you said, this is a great time, to create content. And I feel like, not to veer off so far from the music, but the overall message is there's so many opportunities out there right now, so many tools that you can use to create your own content. Social media is booming right now. Even this right now, what are we doing? We're content creating.
Exactly.
Putting out a message, make your mark, put out a message, a positive one, hopefully. And, if you got something good to say, share that with the world.
Yeah, man. And on that note, we're going to end it like that. We look forward to coming weekly with this podcast, the No Politics Podcast. Don't be afraid to share it. Social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. We want everyone out there to create. And don't fear. No one's saying no. You can't do it. Keep dreaming. Represent. And on that note, we're out. We love you. We'll see you next week.